All right. The shop supervisor is fired up. You ready to do this build? We got a fun one here. Follow along as we build a custom serving tray from black walnut and WiseBond deep pour epoxy. We're gonna tint this with the Excalibur color shift pigment. It's gonna be a fun build, and stick around for the end to see the amazing results. So I've already got the walnut live edge trimmed down, so let's get it in the mold and we'll get that edge sealed up and get this epoxy mixed up and poured. Let's get this ball rolling. Come along. So we have the color shift encased serving tray sanded. So now what I need to do is I need to resaw this. We're at 1.75 inches. So up to now, we've been milling down our sides that will end up with this shape. So these are gonna be the handles, this will be the sides. I need to cut the grooves in these still, and I need to actually cut out the shape here. So we're gonna work on that today. When I did the pour for this is the color shift. So this is the Excalibur mica powder color shift pigment from WiseBond. WiseBond. I will leave a link down in the description. It is an affiliate link. By you clicking on that, you're helping to support this channel and put up more content. Hopefully you are enjoying it. If you are, please like and subscribe. That helps out more than you know, and that doesn't cost you anything. But what I always say is always over pour your projects, make them oversized, and then you can cut them down should there be any imperfections or any things that pop up that you didn't really anticipate for. So what I did on this one is I did anticipate having another tray available for sale. Just my standard 18-inch serving tray with the handles. So I had some beautiful black walnut that was sourced locally here in Illinois. And for the bottom of the tray, it only needs to be about 3/8 is where I'm gonna go. Because if you go any thinner than 3/8 for the bottom, you don't get that opaque look with the mica powders that it can produce. It gets more of a translucent. So I want to make sure that the colors stay consistent. So I'm going to mill this down to 1/2 inch, and then that'll leave me with a little under 1 inch for my standard serving tray, and then I can mill that down. That way for this pour, I will have gotten 2 projects done out of it, and saves me the time of trying to restart again and mill all the lumber down. So I'll get a customer's order out of this, I'll get a shop product out of this, and we'll just keep going. So up to now, it's been poured, cured, it's been run through my wide belt sander. I call it a wide belt sander. Not as wide as my buddy Ty out at Forged Wood and Stone, but it's a Laguna 1632 wide belt sander. It does really good. I got to dial it in a little bit. I have to keep flipping it around, as you've seen on some of the previous shots in this video. It's off just a bit. It kind of tapers on the outside. So I flip it around and that levels everything out, gets it nice and flat, and we end up with a beautiful product. But it does leave some sanding lines. So it's not a perfect system. It's not. You can keep changing the belt out to go up to a finer grit. I generally keep 80 to 120 in there. But just to change the belt out all the time, it's quite a bit of a process. So now I'll come back, I'm gonna hit this. Well, actually what we're gonna do first, we're gonna slice it up, then we'll put it back on the wide belt, get it nice and flat, and then we'll sand out all these lines. And then I will engrave my logo on the back side, and then we will start to polish it up. And then for this one, we're not going to do any bar and tabletop coating. This one, you're going to have the natural look and feel from the black walnut, so you get that warmth touch. It's really personal preference. I've sold equal amounts of both. Some people like that high gloss sheen on the pieces, and it looks amazing. It brings out all the colors in the wood, and it stays like that. So it's beautiful. You lose the warmth and touch of the natural wood. And that is a big allure for people. When I set up at my events, that is the first thing that people do when they walk up. They'll walk up and they'll touch the piece, and they'll touch pretty much all of the pieces and just caress it. And it just brings a smile to their face. And that's the beauty of really making these projects and seeing the joy that it brings to everyone. So I'm torn. I'm more of a traditionalist as far as I like that natural look, but I do see the benefits and I do love the look of the gloss. Let me know what you think. Are you a high gloss or are you a natural look type of person? What do you like? Throw a comment down below, please. All right, so let's get going on this. We will slice this up, level it. We're gonna cut all of this out and then we'll make the dado in here. I always wait to do the dado to see exactly what I end up with on my slice, and then we can tailor it to that. Let's get going. Look at that. That's going to be amazing. So this is the Excalibur pigment, mica powder from WiseBond. It is a color shifting pigment. When you look at it in one angle versus another, you get different hues. So this goes from a nice deep blue into a purple. It's absolutely amazing. So let's get this sanded flat. We'll see how far down we need to go. Get this customer's build done. In the meantime, we can also work on this, which will be up on the store on my website once this is complete. Let's get back to work. Shop supervisor and I are out here getting some orders done. Where we're at now, we need to sand it down. It's been brought down to just about a 32nd, maybe a 16th over of where I want to have it for the overall width or thickness, I should say. So we're gonna sand this down, get it nice and smooth. We will polish up the resin. Then once I get to the final thickness of the bottom tray here, I will then cut a dado in here, and we'll cut it to fit so it holds this nice and tight. These are going to be the handles. You can see where I've got it laid out. So I need to cut away the waste material and then I can refine that. I already cut the miters on the end. So we've got that down to the size that we need it. So we just had to do a little bit of sanding, a little bit of polishing. Let's get going. Shop supervisor is telling me that I need to get to work. Let's do it. Now we've got all of our pieces cut out. I just need to do the sanding and finishing of the internal pieces. We've got the board completely sanded up to 320 on both sides. I do have the logo burned in on the underside. Next step will be to do some wet sanding and then the polishing for the resin. And then we will sand the interior, and then we'll put it all together. But I've got the handles all cut out. Everything is mated up and matches up perfectly. Just double stuck those together, double-sided tape. That way everything is completely lined up, and we did a dry fit of all the pieces, and everything lines up nice and neat. So I'm happy about that. There you go. That is what we're gonna look like. So we'll go ahead and get everything polished up for the resin, sand it on the interior, and then we'll glue it up and let that dry overnight. We're gonna let it dry inside the house. It is currently snowing. We have about 1 inch of snow on the ground, and it's supposed to continue through the night. I did have the heater running a little bit in the shop here before I got started, so we got it up to 51 degrees. So not entirely cold, but it's still a little chilly. So let's get these next steps done, and we'll get moving. We are in the house, down in my resin and turning room. A lot warmer in here, which is ideal for doing any glue ups. Going to be using Titebond 3 on this glue up. With Titebond 3, it'll work in any temperature that is at least 45 degrees or above. These are small enough to where I could do the glue up down here. So I'll get the get this all glued up. It is sanded. The wood is sanded up to 320. The resin I have polished up to 10,000 grit. We went with the wet sand for both sides. top and bottom. And then all of the inside is sanded, not the tops of the rails or the bottom of the rails. I'll get that once everything is all glued up. For this, since it's small enough, I can use my band clamps. I have a couple different ones. I've got some Bessie ones, I got some Rockler ones. These work really well. You can use, if you have the large enough rubber bands, they do make the rubber bands in different sizes. These are larger ones. You could use blue tape as well. Really, you just want it to hold the joint together while the glue is drying. These are, since they are miter joints, 45, you are going to be gluing end grain to end grain. So we are going to be putting splines in here after this sets up and dries overnight. We'll go out to the shop tomorrow, cut some splines in there with some contrasting woods. We could use maple in there, we could use cherry. I might keep it walnut, we'll see. I also have some wingate, which is a nice little black accent touch to it. So let's get this glued up. Now when gluing, you want to remember that your wood will still have some slight movement over the time, especially here in the Midwest. We do get all the different seasons, and we get the humidity and the warmth in the summer and then cold in the winter. So the wood will expand and contract. So on any of your side glue ups, you don't want to glue that into the groove, because that will not allow for that expansion and contraction of the wood. Even though it's minimal, you don't want it, you want it to be able to breathe a little bit. So we've cut the dado a little deeper. We're a little over 1/4 of an inch, and that will allow the board to kind of move. Now they do make little spacers. They're little rubber balls. They're actually called space balls, just like the movie. And what that does is it holds your piece in tight, but it still allows for that expansion and contraction. This piece is small enough to where I don't have to worry about that. That's more for your larger projects. This one is so small that the movement is going to be very minimal, but still, you want to just put the glue on the end grain, because boards expand and contract along the grain, not at the grain. So let's get going on this, and we'll get it all clamped up and ready to go. And you can put little dabs of glue in there if you like. I generally don't, and that's just because I want that expansion and contraction. This will hold up enough with the end, and then of course when I put the splines in. There we have it. So I'll just come back in with a cloth, and we will wipe up this glue. Now, like I said, the top ends, the outside, and the bottom, I did not sand just yet. So we'll get that done after the glue up. I like doing that after the glue up, so that I can get everything flat and smooth. But there we go. And this is with the WiseBond color shift. So this goes from a purple to a brilliant blue. You can pick that up on WiseBond's website. I do have an affiliate link. I will link that down in the description below. By you using that link, you help me out with this channel, help me keep making videos, and there's no additional cost to you. I also have a discount code that you can use. It's good for 10% off your total purchase. We'll let that sit overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow. Well, we got the splines in and all glued. My jig makes it nice and easy to cut them the same length. Made sure that they were the exact depth. They're just 1/8 inch splines. So we went with a maple spline, which is a good contrast on the walnut. It will actually tie in really nice with the sapwood, the lighter wood of the walnut here. So we are going to take this inside, let it set up overnight. Want to make sure that I give the best chance for this glue to set up. So I'm going to take it inside where it's nice and warm. That way I know it will set up, no questions asked. Got the shop supervisor here. What do you think, girl? Are we okay? Huh? Did we do good? Okay. All right. We'll go inside then. How about that? She's crazy. All right. So we're going to take this in. We're going to let it set up, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow. Back out in the shop. So now we need to trim off the splines. These have been sitting for a little while, so everything is nice and glued in. Then I will route around the edges, do the final sanding on the outside and the underside, and then we can apply the finish. And this is done. This is a very similar tray. So this one is for one customer. It is the color shift. It goes from a deep blue into a brilliant purple, depending on what size you or what angle you are looking at it. And then another customer requested the same tray, however they wanted it all purple. So we will sand this all, get it all cleaned up, cut the splines, apply the finish, and these will be good to go for the customer. So let's get to work. On the final stages. So what we have to do is we will just put the final coat on. We have all of the resin polished up where we want it to be, and then we can get these out to the customers, 2 separate customers, pretty much the same design for both boards, 2 different colors on the resin. So let's get going on this, and then we can also finish up the serving tray. This will be available on the website as soon as it is done. Yeah, let's get going, shall we? that is going to wrap up this video. The tray came out beautiful. Again, we used black walnut with some maple splines. The maple splines not only help for the strength in the mitered corners, but they add a nice design and a color contrast that really stands out with the black walnut. The resin that was used is WiseBond Deep Pour Epoxy, tinted with one of their color shifting pigments. It goes from a nice deep purple into a brilliant blue. Really love this color combination. The overall dimensions of this tray is 18 inches in length and 12 inches in width and 2 inches in height. This one here was treated with my go-to cutting board treatment paste. It's not only good for cutting boards, but any wood product really, to help bring out the richness of the wood. You still get that textile feel of the wood itself, and it conditions the wood, keeps it nice and moistened, and then the wax helps hold that oil down in. It's something that is very easy to apply. I will leave a link to the video description of how to apply it. And again, you can pick that up on my website at bwdesignworks.com. I will leave a link down in the description for all of the products that I use and my tools. If you found this video enjoyable, please consider giving it a like. Please consider subscribing, and greatly appreciate if you share this video with anybody that you feel would enjoy this kind of content. We have a lot more videos planned with not only just the epoxy resin projects, but some nice shop builds and some construction down here to help me get things organized. So again, thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate it if you made it this far, and we will see you again on the next video. Take care.